evolution of sound.
Beep beep, what's up ninjas? My name is Emerald and today we're going to be discussing CLA vocals, what it does, how to use it, and what can you use it on. Now in order to do this, we're going to be enlisting the help of a vocal from a new vocal pack coming out this Friday with Nina Sung at evilsounds.com. Nina Sung has had the pleasure of working with Illenium on a big collaboration there with Queso, as well with James Egbert, and has also worked with some of the producers from David Guetta's camp and also done a couple of jingles at Paramount Studios. So she's been, doing vocals for quite some time now. Now in front of us we have the dry vocal, which is going to sound like this.
It's funny how things have come to be. You and I are now obsolete. Believe when I say.
Now, the moment we turn on CLA vocals, you're going to notice that all the effects are applied at a moderate level.
It's funny how things have come to be. You and I.
Now, let's talk a little bit about what CLA vocals does. In order to do this, we're going to be turning them all off and applying them as we go along. Now, the first knob that I want to present to you in CLA vocals or slider is going to be the bass. Now, the bass is an EQ for the low end of the vocal. You're going to have three types of EQs on this one. You're going to have the upper bass, the sub area of your vocal, in aka frequencies, and then the lowest area. So if we apply it heavily and see what it does to the vocal, then we can get a better idea of how to use it.
It's funny how things have come to be. You and I are now obsolete. Believe when I say I wish that we.
Now, if we look at the frequency spectrum, where are we going to see the change?
It's funny how things have come to be. You and I are now obsolete. Believe when I say.
You can see this area does get pushed up a lot with the lower and upper.
It's funny how things have come to be. You and I are now obsolete.
So this area here is getting pushed up and upper, and in the sub, we're going to assume it's going to be in the lower.
It's funny how things have come to be. You and I are now obsolete. Believe when I say.
This area is going to get pushed up over here. Now, that's going to be what the sub is doing. The sub, I don't find it that useful. The other thing you can do with this by boosting is you can also decrease in a certain area. So if you let's say, think the vocal has a little bit too much of mud in it, you can use a lower to kind of ease up on it, go down on it. Usually I find myself using this, just decreasing a bit till the vocal is a little bit more in your face rather than having it be kind of muddy. Now, if we keep moving on, we're going to have now another EQ, and that's going to be the treble one. Now, the treble EQ is an upper level EQ for the upper frequencies. You're going to have bite, top, and a roof. Now, the bite sounds like this, and I do recommend you guys brace your ears because it is going to make the vocal sound really harsh in the highs.
It's funny how things have come to be.
So that's the bite one.
It's funny how things have come.
We got top.
It's funny how things have.
And you can see the high frequencies are just getting accentuated like crazy, and we have roof.
It's funny how things have come to be. You and I are now obsolete.
So in order to use this one, you got to be very careful with it. If your vocal is already pretty good, it has a good kind of feel to it already, and it needs a little bit of high end to give it a little bit of air, then you can go with this. Just add a tiny bit. Don't get too crazy.
It's funny how things have come to be. You and I are now obsolete. Believe when I say I wish that.
Now, be careful because if you do have this, you got to make sure that you DS so that the sounds don't really mess. And this is going to be another tutorial we're going to have later in the week on how to use the de-esser properly. The next effect that CLA Vocals provides is a compressor. You're going to have three styles of compressions for this: the push, the spank, and then the wall. Usually the one at the very top is the one that is super, crazy. And the wall is sort of like a brick wall, aka a limiter. Now, we're going to be using the push for this. Now, if you don't know what compression does, I do recommend you watch a video by my good friend Julian Gray Media. He made an amazing tutorial on it. Really high quality stuff, guys. I'll leave the link in the description below if you want to check that out. But a quick explanation of what compression does is compression is going to pretty much make it so that the vocal is a lot more stable. If you look at the vocals waveform, you're going to notice there's a lot of movement going on. It's not stable all the way through. You're super loud here and then you're super soft here. You have a lot of dynamics, super low here and all of a sudden super loud. So what the compressor is going to do is it's going to lower the dynamic range, which means that this is going to become more of a kind of like a line. It's going to be a little bit more stable. So that's what we're going to do with this. So this is the way it sounds like, and I'm going to lower volume because it does get loud.
It's funny how things have come to be. You and I are now obsolete. Believe when I say I wish that we could talk again.
So a lot of people, if you don't understand compression, you're going to be like, that sounds pretty good. And the reason it does is because her voice is loud at all times. It's not like, it's funny how things have come to be. You know, the compressor is going to even it out for you. And I think compression is best used on vocals. That's where you're going to learn how to use a compressor the right way. So what I'm going to do is just give it a hint of that. Now, the next thing we have is the reverb. And I don't think reverb needs explanation. We have a tight reverb.
It's funny how things have.
We have a large.
It's funny how things have.
And then we have a chamber.
It's funny how things have.
Which is a big reverb. Now, you have to be really careful with reverb because the biggest mistake I see beginners make when they use CLA vocals is they go crazy with the fucking reverb and they go really high because it sounds good. Anything with reverb is going to sound good. But you want to be really careful with it and just apply a moderate amount. I would even go as to recommend for you to not even use that in your vocals and just use it in a return. But if you must, then just be easy with it.
It's funny how things have come to be, you and I.
Now the next we have in line is the delay. Now we're going to have a slap delay, an eighth delay, and a quarter delay. And this all has to do with the timing of it. Now a slap delay sounds like this.
It's funny how things have come to be.
It's kind of like doubling the vocal and you know, it sounds pretty cool, right? However, I have a better way of doing this, so I don't like using that. Now the eighth is, again, just the timing of the vocal.
It's funny how things have come to be. You and I now absolutely believe when I say.
It's good to use now and then to give it a little bit of that, you know, delay to it. So it fills up the frequency a lot more, especially if you're using the vocal in a breakdown. However, you know, I think
It's funny how
the slap is usually the one I tend to pick and I just give it a hint of it. But again, like I stated, I have a better way of doing this, so I choose not to use it.
It's funny.
Now, the last one is going to be I like to call it the stereo image, but they decided to go with the pitch. Now, what the stereo image is going to do here, it's going to make your vocals either be mono
It's funny how.
or wide.
It's funny how things have come.
Now, if you notice in mono, it's more in the center like the original vocal was because it was recorded with one microphone. And then when you put it in full stereo, it's more to the sides of the mix.
It's funny how things have come to.
There we go, different types.
It's funny how things have come to be. You and I now absolutely believe when I say I wish that we could talk.
So as you can see there, pretty much, you know, you're going to be able to make your vocals wide. Now, a lot of you guys watch my tutorials and know I always recommend that your vocals should be in mono, and they should be still. But sometimes there's going to be problems where you have a big sound in the center of the mix, maybe like a Moog bass, a Moog pad. So you have to move the vocals out of the way or else they're going to get drowned. So how do you do that? Well, you just make them wide. That's where they're going to fit. That's where they fit in the mix.
I can hardly breathe, and I can hardly see, but I can't forget you. No, I can't forget you. I can hardly breathe, and I can hardly see, but I can't forget you. No, I can't.
Anyways, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. It's fairly simple one, just explaining what CLA vocals does. We used it on this vocal to go from this
It's funny how.
to,
It's funny how things have come to be.
you know, just a hint of CLA vocals works. The presets are also amazing. My favorite one is the Spaceman, and I do ease up on the reverb on that one, and I think it's perfect for whenever I use it. Anyways, guys, take care, and you have an amazing day. The vocal pack comes out Friday for those of you guys that are interested, so I'll see you guys then. Tomorrow I should be releasing another tutorial as well. Take care, ninjas, and have a very good day.